What's up everybody, and thank you for joining me for another video. My name is Whack4863, but you can call me Whack. Today I'm going to cover the hotfix that came for the Age of War Chapter 2 just yesterday on the 16th of January. So we're going to start off at the top with exploit fixes. They removed a method for crafting floating ceilings, addressed several under mesh locations, and a method for travel from under mesh bases. This couples with the new additions, which is a new server setting, build validation enabled, true or false. This is set to false by default, but by setting this to true, this will, upon server startup, destroy any building piece that has no stability. Note, server admins should consider carefully whether they turn this on or not, perhaps testing it locally first, as constructions made before the recent bug fixes might be impacted. Now, there's nothing in the patch notes to say whether this is enabled on official servers or not, but I think the idea is that they will enable this on official servers to deal with the issues that they stated under the exploit fixes, like the floating ceilings and also the under mesh locations. This is something that would just simply, upon server restart, check all those buildings and then destroy anything that is built improperly or against the rules. Building in placeable fixes, the Yamatai floor pillow is now located in the decorative category in the construction hammer menu to avoid confusion of its functionality. We are working on making them usable as seats. So at some point in time, that bizarre item should actually work as a tavern placeable where NPCs will sit down on those pillows, bringing the tavern to life. Armor display stands should now correctly show the armor dyed looks. Armor display stands no longer turn partially invisible upon loading, and the female armor display stand once again reflects gravity. So those are all good fixes. I think I've seen these in patch notes before, so hopefully all those issues are rectified going forward. Veneer Chieftain Hammer now displays correctly on the display rack. There's a couple of crafting fixes here. The dead leg and the glasser now correctly require the improved workbench or better to be crafted. Combat fixes Jebelsag is no longer invulnerable to projectile attacks. That's a good thing because I don't think you can attack the Jebelsag avatar any other way. AI and NPC fixes. Camels can now be placed in stables, making it so that you can actually use them as rideable mounts. So if you want a camel that is a rideable mount, you put it in a stable. If you want one that can just carry your stuff and be a normal pet, you put it in your animal pen. Thralls now consistently turn to face their enemies before taking a swing at them. So this should fix the moonwalking issue that we were seeing. Hopefully this will also fix archer thralls and NPCs from being able to moonwalk and not be facing you and still shoot you with arrows. Thralls assigned to bar stools and other less important objects now return to their correct position after a bar fight and other less important activities. I've seen a little bit of confusion about this. This is your actual thrall. So if you had a thrall and you placed it in a seat and something causes aggro in your base, like a scorpion walks in your front door, these thralls would get out of their seat to go and fight. This is not the NPCs that come and hang out in your tavern that you do not own or cannot interact with. Those will still just sit there and watch the bar fight, as they put it, unfold. Purge demolishers have been toned down. Hopefully that means they're not one-shotting your building pieces anymore. I haven't had a chance to test this yet, but that should be one of the things that you see with this update. The Siege of Almeria has a bunch of fixes under it. Fixed a condition where the siege would not reset properly. Resets no longer keep the additional surviving defenders around for next time. So you should have a easier time getting in there and not have a ton of enemies in that area. However, it is still rather difficult. You will still see a lot of enemies there. You're just not going to get overwhelmed by enemies that shouldn't be there from the last interaction. Vanquishing Commander Back Nimlot now provides less XP, and I did a test on this, which is what you're watching now. You can still level a thrall from 0 to 20 by defeating Commander Back Nimlot. I was able to do it just this morning and it didn't cause me any issues, so that seems like something you can still go out and do. Commander Back Nimlot is now always audible over other sounds. Okay, that's fine. They added a short delay on the final fanfare. I think this actually needs to be on its own separate line, but it says Void Forge weapons no longer disappear from corpses on the Isle of Sipta. Purge bases will no longer spawn outside the cursed wall. That's probably a good thing if you want to get the loot. The craft a trap journey step now resolves when placing a trap using the construction hammer. Fixed visual on Corsair Cutlass basket hilt when viewed from a bit further away. And then they have some UI and text fixes. Data collection privacy prompt will now open in a browser if Steam overlay is disabled. And then the final thing here is setting for auto facing on attack removed as it was no longer used. Now you might have noticed that they didn't talk about the change that they made to combat at all. And I know there's a lot of controversy around the combat changes. Some people saying that they like it, other people saying that they absolutely despise it. And you can let me know where you sit on this topic in the comment section below. However, there is some information that was given to some of us by Dennis that says that they're working on a style of combat and a setting that will incorporate the ability to have both styles of combat available for everyone to play. So if you like the older style of combat, which is kind of point and click in a direction and your character will rotate to that, then that will be available in the future. But if you don't like that style, you can leave this option not checked, and you can use your character movement buttons to turn your character around and attack that direction. So hopefully we'll see that in a future update. Likely that it won't come until at least Age of War Chapter 4, maybe even beyond that, depending on if they can get that all fleshed out and ready for that update. But the two really big things that came with this patch are, one, the fact that we can actually have camels from the last patch. You can engage in that content. And then the other thing is the demolishers being reduced in damage. That way you have a little less worry about how difficult it's going to be to defend against the Purge. So I feel like this hotfix at least makes it so that you can engage in all the content that was promised in the Age of War Chapter 3. Don't forget to whack the like button on your way out and let me know in the comment section below what's your favorite part of this update. I'd like to thank all my YouTube members for their continued support. Y'all are absolute legends. The video that's on the screen right now is the one that YouTube thinks you might like to watch. Head over there and let me know what video sent you there.